Few tales are told of Hades, whose very name inspires fear and penitence, reminding us of the inevitable fate which we all share. I, however, mean to tell you such a tale. Listen carefully.
Goodbye, Father.
Welcome to Wide Flank.
All right, hello, and welcome to another episode of Wide Flank. Oh boy, do we have an episode for you today, folks. We're doing another Gameclub episode. This month we played Hades. I played a lot of Hades for like the past 6 months, so I've really played Hades for this Gameclub. And Danny, do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah. So, Hades is self-described as a godlike roguelike dungeon crawler. It's developed and published by Supergiant Games, which some people may have played some of their other games: Bastion, Transistor, and Pyre. I think all four of the games are like two-dimensional games with like an isometric camera, and so it's like it's a bird's eye view single plane game, like Helldivers or right. That's right?
Yeah, I was actually very excited to hear how you describe isometric because I have a very hard time doing it too. Yeah, it's bird's eye, but if the bird was looking at something to its side and not right below it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it's like League of Legends
top
camera.
down, but 3D.
Yeah. I didn't realize that a lot of this stuff is actually 2D. I just thought isometric was 3D. Even when I played Diablo 2, I think I was watching them talk about the remake of Diablo 2, and they were like, this is an all 2D game that we had to make 3D. It's just all 2D sprites. And I was like, what? But you can move in 3 dimensions. It's just drawn. It's just fake. Yeah. Right. Which just blew my mind that even after all these years, I had no idea.
Yeah. And the Steam description of the game also reads, I love this, as the immortal prince of the underworld, Zagreus, you'll wield the powers and mythic weapons of Olympus to break free from the clutches of the god of the dead himself, while growing stronger and unraveling more of the story with each unique escape attempt.
I mean, forget about it.
Yeah, it's true. It's all true.
Okay, so Alon, do you want to tell us what this game is, how it plays?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was getting a lot of old school Super Nintendo hack and slash beat 'em up vibes, especially early on in the game before you get good, before you even know there is a story or what any of the items do or what any of the symbols above the rooms mean. You're kind of just running around killing stuff, and you're just mashing square. You should play this on controller. Mashing attack and your special move, and just trying to not die. But I think roguelikes mean a lot of things. But I mean, for me, it's definitely about sort of a permanent death, meaning that the run ends when you die and you have to start at the beginning every time. Some sort of procedurally generated maps. There's not a map that you go through. It's just rooms appear and you choose which room to go in and you just continue on. There's bosses and stuff like that and power-ups as you go. So every run is pretty unique. Even if you're going for the same thing, you end up getting different power-ups from the gods called Boons, which take you in different directions and make you stronger in different ways. Yeah, I mean, what else?
Yeah, so to describe it specifically, the boon aspect, I kind of would describe this as talking to people about it. I would say it's like Ninja Turtles or something. That's what
Turtles in Time.
Turtles in Time, right?
You guys are so old.
I know.
I was thinking Streets of Rage, and I was like, no one in our Discord has played that, except I at it and Hayden, because I was like, I know Hayden's played this, but I don't know if anyone else has played this game.
Yeah, so right, it'd be if Donatello starts with a stick, and then after the first room, does Donatello, is he the stick one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he starts with a
It's
stick.
a staff, bro.
A bow staff. I know what it is, but I'm not lame. He starts with a stick. And then, like, after you beat a room, it'd be like, okay, now the stick's powered with lightning damage from Zeus. And then in the next room, it'd be like, okay, now Aphrodite gives you a move that lets you charm enemies while using your lightning staff, and so on and so on. So because there's so many different gods, I don't know, 8, 10, you can get different power-ups that change every run. They each have, like, I don't know, 30, maybe not 20, 15, 20 boons. And
So many. Yeah.
they just can mix up your run in a variety of ways.
Yeah, and then it's not totally, I mean, it is random, but it's not like totally you're just dragged along to whichever boon or next room. Like, it's not like you're forced to accept whatever the reward is in the next room. Oftentimes you have a choice between, like, a room that gives you more max health or a room that'll give you a boon from Poseidon or that'll give you a shopkeeper. So even with the random elements, you have some control over the kind of run you have. You can, like, I don't want any Aphrodite boons this game, and you can avoid it, or you can, just all you want to do is talk to Hermes, and you can try to do that. But
Yeah, and that's actually a key. I mean, I haven't put that much thought into it, but you need some amount of control, I feel like, in these kind of games. Like, the roguelike that I've played by far the most is Slave Aspire. And, like, if you couldn't see the map or have, like, choose when to take cards and when to not to take cards, like, that game would be a disaster, right? Like, if this game, it was just autopilot and you just get whatever you get and you have no choice, it would feel so much less, like, personalized and like you're on your own unique run. It would just feel like, I don't know, like a weird, why isn't this linear game if you're just making all the choices for me, you know?
Yeah, one thing I think that's special about this game is when you like think you have an optimized build or whatever, or you're going for something and you don't get it, and because you have to pick a room to go to, sometimes you just end up with something you've never used before, or something you thought was bad that just ends up clicking in your overall kit that really ends up being good.
Yeah, one of my notes is that sometimes builds that feel bad, you can tell are really powerful with a different weapon. And sometimes builds that feel really good end up being really weak. And you're like, oh, fuck, I'm really weak and bad, right? And I love that. They make it really interesting with, and this is sort of I'm taking from the Eggplant Pod, but from meta progression versus player mastery, where there's all of these different unlock systems in Hades that explores what they call meta progression design space, right? So the weapons have a large amount of variance. It's not a power creep. It's not like as soon as you unlock the next weapon, oh, now I can beat the game because I'm unstoppable. They just play differently and just feel differently and make every run and boon feel differently independent to that weapon. There's a thing called keepsakes also that change the play style without really affecting the power creep. But then there's also stuff that you unlock in the mirror in the protagonist's room, Zagreus, where you can upgrade permanent upgrades to help you beat the game. And what one of the guys one of the creators of the game who was on the podcast said is that basically they wanted to make it a game that anyone who's invested time in will eventually beat. Like, anyone can eventually reach the end of this game if they grind enough, because we're going to keep making them more powerful until they get there, which I never really thought of roguelikes like that. But if you think about it, there are some games that are just too hard that no one, if you're not really good at games, you'll just never see the end of. And this game actually respects that, which I like.
Right. I think we face this with Inscription, right? Which is like, you can, I forget who it was, like Dave was like beat it his first run. It was like, oh, I beat it my first run, but I got like sent back to the beginning. Yeah. Like, I assume I did it too fast, like, and yeah. I didn't even come close to beating it until like my 15th run or something. Yeah. But that game definitely, like, it stops you from playing too fast, which is interesting, but it also pushes you along. Like, the more you play it, the more times you lose, the more it powers you up. Because, and I think the difference between all these games is, like you said, like Spelunky is just about player mastery. It's like, have you gotten good enough at the game to beat it. And these other ones are kind of like, you're in this world and we're telling this story via the roguelike mechanic of repeat playing the entire thing we've created. But we want you to see the end point, right? We don't just want you to just fight through room after room until you're good. We want you to see story. We want you to get to the final boss. We want changes in the world to be meaningful for you.
Have you played a lot of roguelikes, Danny?
I don't know about a lot. I feel like I've played a ton. We played a ton of Spelunky, and then Crypt of the Necrodancer, and now Hades. I can't think of any others that I've like meaningfully played. It's funny. I kind of always go through these phases with. I mean, I went through it with all 3 games where I like don't like it. I'm like, this is so grindy. I've got to start over again, and then it just something happens at some point, and you just get bought in. And that definitely happened with this game. I was wondering while you were talking, I wanted to ask, do you feel like the story elements kind of opening up every time you try, even if you don't beat the run? Like, was that? Do you think did you feel like it was done well enough to? Because there's not a whole lot else pulling you forward, I feel like, other than just general curiosity or wanting to beat it. So, yeah, like the voice acting, the story elements, the like new characters that come in, and the interesting secrets that get revealed by them. Do you feel like that's what engaged you most to like keep going through the grind?
I think personally the challenge engaged me more of just like, I kind of want to just skip all this bullshit and dialogue and just jump right back in because I was so close to being so powerful, you know what I mean? And just that like temptation of, I'm almost as powerful as a god, basically. Like you're touching God is what that game feels like. But
you're a godlike rogue.
Exactly. But there was a caller on that aforementioned Eggplant Pod who basically said exactly what you said, which is that they loved that this game sort of subverted the negative emotions around dying and failing, which happens nonstop in this game, by immediately giving you things to look forward to in town and immediately giving you rewards where you can like power up or unlock a new weapon and talk to people and stuff, which I think is, again, just really clever and really like respectful of a range of gamers who play for different reasons with different styles.
Right. I was going to say I was also carried through by the skill based pursuit, but like every time I died, I was like, when I would come out of the river, I'd be like, fuck,
Yeah.
and then I'd like come out of the river and I'd be like immediately looking for exclamation points on people's heads to talk to them, and I was just like immediately forgot about the run and was just like, oh, what is this person saying? Like,
oh, Achilles wants to talk.
yeah.
You'll get the hang of it out there, lad.
Yeah, I totally agree with both of you. I felt for me it really just felt like it takes the edge off the repeat for sure. I think with these games, it's almost like a claw machine, or something like that, where you're just like, oh, if I look at it from the side, like if I was just one edge over, I definitely would have had it that time. So this time I know I'm going to be able to dodge the chariots, or like I'm not going to step on a trap on my second room that set me behind the whole run. I just found like, I definitely got stuck in the loop of this time I won't make that stupid mistake that I made. Which, of course, I continue. It's very easy to find new mistakes in this game, but
it's really unbelievable the skilling up in these kind of games. You guys see me, naked in Discord and my feelings of just like, I fucking hate this game. I'm too old. I'm never gonna beat it. Now I can just solo like Elysium with the no boons and the basic sword, basically, and just like barely take a point of damage. It's just like I'm just learning to dance. Like one of the notes I wrote when I really was on a run, I think I beat it 5 times in a row or something. I was like, oh, I figured this game out now. It's just don't dash harder, dash smarter. With these kind of games, you end up playing so much more slowly the better you get, in a weird way, and like respecting your inputs. And when you play early, you're just like, I need to do this is, and you're just mashing attack and mashing dash. Yeah, and just like, and now I just like kill everything and dodge everything more slowly. Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, Voldy said I played Hades for a week, had a few runs, but never made it too far. Got bored and dropped it. Felt like I had to play a game in a very safe way unless I lucked into a good build. Am I wrong? Bad?
Should I try
again? Yes, you should try again. But I would say like the beginning of the game, like you are supposed to lose. This isn't. I mean, I think Spelunky you're also supposed to lose, but just because it's very, very difficult. Like you could beat Spelunky. Like I could pick up Spelunky and beat it right now. Like I just tried to play a new Hades run and like I died before I got to the first boss. And like there are, I think the reason it's a roguelite is because early on in the game there are a few like RPG mechanics, like we were saying, where you can progress, you can get more health, you can get like extra lives, and that happens after like, I don't know, 10, 15 runs, and then you're locked in. And you don't, I mean, I guess you have to be careful, but I just feel like once you've gotten it, you're like, it's not especially careful. I feel like you can be like really aggressive in certain ways. And I just think you have to be, depending on certain builds, you have to be aggressive. And I know a lot of people who've just been turned off pretty early in it. And I think if like the story in the beginning definitely carried me along, but if you're like, I don't quite get how all this comes together, I would just say like, keep going, because like the combat really, you really do learn it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just the genre in general. You lose a ton of people drop out early on in the game. Definitely my experience with Necrodancer. The first couple times I played, I was like, this is a funny idea. It's like I was like, this. I hate DDR. I hate this game, and I just. But then it was like years later that we started playing it and got into it. And I was like, and it's like one of my favorite games ever now. So yeah, it's just you do just kind of have to push through the hump, I think, and then the gameplay is just I don't know. It's so satisfying. I think I said in Discord to you, Alon, that it's Doom, but 2D isometric roguelike version.
What you said to me when I was complaining I couldn't beat a boss, you were like, just play like it's Doom. And I was like, obviously I was defeated. I was like, fuck off, Danny, whatever. And then like 5 hours later I beat it and I'm like, Danny's the man.
Yeah, it really it reminded it's of the games we've played for Gameclub, Doom feels like the closest, just gameplay wise. It's just like super fast paced. I guess it's interesting you talking about how you kind of slow down. I mean, maybe a little bit. I don't go for mobility boons, certainly. Like I don't go for triple dash or for 40% move speed bonus or whatever. But I like my most successful runs, I was all over the screen, dodging attacks, using specials, and playing off my boons. But it's it's just like it just is so satisfying to just have all this mayhem on your screen and to properly dash through it all, or properly dodge and attack through it all.
It's very Neo Matrix shit.
Totally.
Yeah, you were saying it's hard to see what's going on in the game. Did you feel like that changed the more you played it?
Actually, I felt that it changed the way I chose boons, essentially. I had some runs where I felt like I was really strong, but just I had like lightning coming off when I dash, and I had an Artemis arrow off my special, and so every time I would do anything, there'd be tons of assets on the screen on top of the enemy attacks. And later in the game, when you're fighting witches and they're shooting out 50 of their projectiles, it's just like literally I have no idea what's going on. And so I would intentionally not get like the Zeus lightning off my dash, or instead I would try to get like the Aphrodite dash damage, and then like the Artemis arrow instead of the Zeus lightning off the attack, stuff like that. Just because I actually felt like I needed more. I need my vision to be less clouded by power.
Yeah, Svenny's question was basically, are roguelikes actually fun? How do you pick yourself back up, convince yourself to start over after a long but unsuccessful run? And, that's kind of what we're talking about. And I think that I just wanted to reemphasize that something that they said again on that Eggplant Pod is, like, because it is a narrative game, right? This isn't just Spelunky or Slay the Spire where you just keep trying until you get better. The difficulty and dying over and over again at the beginning is a means to an end. Like, they have to kill you so that you can start over and do the talking and get into the story and do the enjoyable stuff of walking around and unlocking new guns and getting more powerful. You have to die. That's the only way that you reach that stuff. Because if you never died, if this was beatable in your first time playing the game, you would never start over and you would never get to any of that stuff. So that is just part of the genre. And I think that you just have to kind of find whatever interests you most. And it sounds like for all of us, I think the aesthetics were so awesome and spot on that my first reaction to this game was just okay, this game fucking rips. I obviously died immediately, but I was this is just sick. It's just so cool. The music is so sick. Everything looks amazing. And I went through frustration, but I think that early on, that and the voice acting and stuff kind of kept me in there and being I was definitely doubting myself. Do I just suck? And I just can't beat this game, and then you just get better and better, as they designed you to do, and you unlock a weapon that works for you and how you want to play. And it's worth it. Yeah. I just think it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. I feel like I would just encourage someone who's going to play this game to not my first run. Ted even joked about it. I can't wait for you to beat it on your first try. And I really was I think I could do it. And I think I would just encourage someone else who's playing to just it's the game is beautiful. When those moments where you can walk up to the edge and watch the camera pan out over the layer of hell you're in, is just so cool. And all the enemy projectiles and attacks look amazing. And just kind of I would just say, just kind of immerse yourself in it a little bit and just enjoy the smoothness of the gameplay and how sharp you can be. You have so much control over your character. It really feels especially when you're playing with a controller, very much an extension of yourself, as not so much you're controlling a car, rocket car.
Yeah.
That's
I love it.
So I think it's worth it. Really, what I'm saying is I think it's worth it. That's how I would recommend someone kind of get over that hump of the game if they felt like they weren't, if they felt really frustrated by it.
Yeah. And one of the funny things that happens also now, looking back at those mirror power-ups that, like I said earlier, they kind of permanently upgrade your runs. It's it's almost placebo effect. Most of them don't matter at all. Death Defiance is kind of broken, and that's probably how everyone beats the game the first time, right? It's maxing Death Defiance, and because it's so strong. But everything else is basically Michael's secret stuff from Space Jam, Bugs Bunny just giving you this, and you're okay, I'm ready to go back in there. But it barely changes your run at all. What's actually happening is you're just getting better, and you're getting used to the enemies and the attack patterns, and it's just it just feels so good.
When have you been on the final boss and a 10% damage difference would have won it for you, right? I'm very rarely ever that close.
If only I healed off that dark matter, I would have beat the game. It just doesn't matter at all.
I think coming from the recent roguelike resurgence, I just think hopefully more games take this aspect of building on the world each time, because it's so it just makes that whole process feel so much better. And one thing that I don't expect everybody to do, but I really wanted to draw attention to, is the amount of content that even if you beat it, you were saying, you have to die. Even if you beat it, you die, and you get sent back. You get sent back to the beginning.
You reach the mortal world and then die.
Yeah, and when you come out of the blood, the Styx,
The river,
the
the
Stygian
Styx.
river.
Styx
Yeah,
River or whatever.
I love it. It's
So sick.
But you have conversations. There's like a bunch of different characters. Achilles, Hypnos. You got all kinds of good underworld people. And
Dusa.
yeah, Dusa. Oh my god, the body, the floating head Gorgon. She is like everybody. It just has something new to say every single time. I think like literally, I did 100 runs before
Oh my god.
I got a duplicate audio line, and it's just the amount of content is insane. It's like
It's really crazy.
yeah, like I was just like, oh, like am I never going to run out? Like, I was wondering, do they keep patching stuff? Like, are they patching content in faster than I'm playing the game? Because there's so much stuff happening.
They just have all the voice actors like chained up in the basement of Supergiant Games factory. They're like, we need another Nyx line. And she's like, no. Yeah, the last thing I wanted to say on roguelikes also is just, this is like the shape of roguelikes, as far as I know them at least, is that basically the beginning of every roguelike is the least amount of fun for probably hours. That's just how it goes. But as you figure out what the game is, what the mechanics are, your preferred strategy and whatnot, all of a sudden you're super deep and you can play hundreds of hours. Like I've mentioned before, I think in the Inscription episode, like I have over 1,000 hours in Slay the Spire. Like I can just open it and I have a blast every single time. And this game, I probably have like 40 hours in or something, but I'm not done. Like I'm very not done. And it's for me at least, it's always basically the same. It's always like, I'm gonna learn these systems, and then because I know the systems, every decision I make early on will then pay off later. And then later I'll have this huge advantage built up because I know everything that's happening and I know how strong I am and I know how to spend my resources in the best way and for my best build or whatever. And that just fucking works on me every time. Every single time that works. I mean, it feels incredible every single time.
Yeah, I'm curious what my relationship to it will be long term. I definitely want to play it more. I didn't play it quite as much as I wanted to before recording. Like I would have liked to have beaten it a few more times, but it does lack some of the mystery or like exploration of a game like Spelunky, which Teddy and I played Spelunky I played it consistently and often for years.
Wow.
And it's and there's just there's like there's all these different kinds of runs and different like rooms you can unlock, and maybe Hades has more of these than I understand from where I am now, but
it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
And so it's just
really, okay.
Yeah, like I do think it's really fun and smooth to play, and so I'm sure I will do a run every once in a while, but yeah, I don't know if it quite has that same allure that a game specifically like Spelunky has for me.
Right. I think we probably had like 200 hours. Where it was like, did you know if you throw the damsel on this little pink thing, it takes you to the worm world?
Right, exactly.
I don't even know what that means. I haven't played Spelunky. I've only played a little of Spelunky 2.
Yeah, we'll change that one day.
Yeah, okay.
Next game club, Spelunky 1.
Next game club, but it's a year from now because I have to log 300 hours before I know to throw the damsel in the wormhole or whatever. Dude, when you steal something from the shopkeeper, though,
oh my god, don't get me started,
brother.
Dude, you want to talk about stealing from this shopkeeper? Danny and I didn't know you had to steal the Ankh to do the whole chain to get to the secret final boss, because there's like a special item you need to steal, and we thought we didn't ever fight shopkeepers because we were like, oh, it's too hard. The game doesn't want you to do it.
Yeah.
There's like 10 unkillable shopkeepers in this area. The game definitely doesn't want me to try to kill them.
Yeah, and so we would always buy it. We would work so hard. I remember telling Josh and Bacon that we bought it every time, and they were like, what? You buy it? We were like, yeah. Like, we've never done that. Like, you steal it.
Awesome.
Oh my god.
All right. Let's keep going with the combat a little bit. Do you want to? So Neil had some questions for us. He Instagrammed them to me. He wanted to know my fastest time, which was 25 minutes. I don't know if you guys know yours. He was like, of course, I want to know your fastest time.
I only know because the last time I beat it, like an hour ago, I beat it in 20.
20? Amazing.
20, just because I kind of just skipped stuff. Like I just didn't sit around. I didn't do any of the trials from the troves. I just knew what boons I wanted. I went fists. I was just mega strong. And I actually recorded my fight with the final boss, Hades. You guys are gonna flip when you see how fast I melt him.
Oh,
it was
God,
a fucking joke. It was an actual joke of a fight. You know when he does the move where he like spins with his lasers?
Yeah.
I killed him. Like he started doing that, and I killed him before he finished it.
Amazing.
Jesus. Oh my God. Fist, dude.
So, what's your favorite weapons?
I don't know. I'll think about my favorite as I'm saying this, but my first win was with the railgun. It was my first run with the rail.
Oh, wow. That's fucking awesome.
Which was interesting. I almost didn't even use it. I was like, this feels a little weird. I was like, this cool spear and this cool, wasn't really into, I know my least favorite's the shield for sure. But yeah, the rail, I just got these insane boons that buffed the special. So my whole strategy was just critting. I had the Artemis boon, so it was crit. It had a 20% crit chance, and when it crit, it would mark another enemy for a guaranteed crit.
Yes.
So I would literally just run around mashing triangle, and I had like lined it up so I could bait them into the ring. And because I got I think I got the chaos boon that gave it bonus damage, but it could hurt me as well. So it was just doing like when I fought.
Yeah, and it's bigger, right? The chaos one. It's like a bigger explosion. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like definitely my most powerful run because I actually had not beaten the Theseus and the Bull and the Minotaur. And then I beat them with the rail and beat the game on that run. So it was just like, yeah. So that was definitely my most powerful.
So
but I guess I like
Hades the first time you fought him.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
Amazing.
Barely, dude. I thought I
sick.
cruised through him. I was like, oh my God, this is insane. And then it was very dicey when he came back.
Yeah. Wow, that is sick. Do you have a favorite, Teddy? Favorite weapon?
I don't really. I think the sword. I'm just the most. I just felt. It felt
like Bastion.
Yeah, I'm just. It felt contained. Like I felt like I could like dash around. I knew what my range was. It was close to me. I just felt like I could navigate the space really well. I enjoyed I really liked the dash reflect boon, and I would often try and get that. And so I feel like with that paired with the sword, I could just get in really close and just do fight. And I just love taking the fights up close. It just felt,
the sword special is so satisfying. Also,
so sick. Yeah.
What do you got? What do you got for us, Alon?
I mean, I think my first love was the bow, because that was the first time I felt powerful, I think, in the game. And that was the first one I unlocked, I think. With the basic sword, I was just getting fucking owned and like really wasn't figuring out the game. And with the bow was the first time I had like a decent run and like got a bunch of boons to synergize. And I was like, this feels
Did you have
amazing.
like triple shot or something?
I think I had the one where you had no power shot, but you could just hold shoot.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just ripping people to pieces.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just critting. And I think I had Ares Doom and stuff like that, which is just so OP. But I mean, the first build that I like got and then went for again multiple times because I thought it was so fun was going for the fists with Artemis special crit and then other stuff that makes you just basically more tanky. I got a lot of health, a lot of Athena reflect stuff, Chaos Boon that gives you like 90-something% more damage on the special, and like dash uppercut buffs also. So I would just dash in with my special and do like 800 damage AoE And just so I'm just dash, just like X triangle, X triangle, X triangle. I just felt so strong. But
should just rebound to like to R1 L1 or something.
I know, seriously. But I think my favorite in the end was the spear. I just I don't know. This sounds probably so stupid, but you know when you hold the spear attack and it charges up to do the big spin one, I can't do that without on my left joystick also spinning. If that makes sense. So you're like holding your spear and charging up, and you're like on one foot like a ballerina, and I'm just spinning, and I just feel so stylish and sick. It sounds really dumb, but
so funny.
It just feels and looks so cool. So yeah,
that's so funny. I never use
that.
Yeah. I never use the spin attack when I play with the spear. I charge it up when people spawn sometimes.
Yeah, that's when you do. You use it when enemies are spawning. So I'm just ballerina twirling in the middle of all these guys spawning, and then I just let out a huge attack. It's so fucking sick.
I love with the spear, if you get the boon where that lets it bounce to 5 enemies.
Yeah.
That I had some really good runs where I was just like, I would just stand back and just mash triangle and watch it just shoot around the screen and kill everyone.
The special with the spear I think is also really fun and skillful. It's like it's like Callista in League, right? It's like you throw it, and then whatever angle you're at, you pull the spear back, so you can like kill multiple rows of enemies if you like angle it right, and if you get the crits right and stuff with it. So yeah, I think spear is just really fun. But I agree with you, Teddy. Just getting in there is more fun than. Ultimately than like just shooting them and playing safe.
Right, like the best item is the shield with the charge shot. Did you guys ever get that?
Oh, you told me about it, but I never got it.
Yeah, so like where you do bull rush, but instead of bull rush, a beam just shoots out of your shield, so you just
block everything.
You block everything and never have to move, and everything dies.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like a free win, but it's just like, I don't really want to play the game that way.
Favorite boons? Or did we talk about that already?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think mine is the Athena dash.
It's so fucking sick.
Yeah, just block. You reflects attacks.
Reflecting is so satisfying. Yeah.
And you get the if you can get like a boon that plays off of weak also, it's just like I had a Doom deals double damage to weakened enemies, so just dash around, spin, shooting in a circle, and just watch them all disappear.
Damn. Yeah, I'm trying to think of my favorites. And you eventually get like duo boons, which are 2 gods working together for one like legendary boon. I mean, I think the first time I felt really powerful again in this game is just getting Ares boons really strong in whatever synergy was available to me, and just getting the doom damage from Ares boons really buffed up, and just fucking I actually watched a speed run, and that's what they go for. They go for, I think it's an Ares Athena duo boon that just fucking, he kills people so fast. It just like enhances the doom with like a, you know how Doom shows like a sword logo over the enemy and then like comes down? The sword is like
Damocles.
Yeah, it's like 5 times the size, the sword, and does so much damage. But I don't know. There's a lot of good ones.
Yeah, I think my favorite duo, which I wasn't really thinking about because I never really like go for them or get them, is the one where Zeus and I think Artemis, where if you have your special, your charged, I don't know what that thing is, the pyramid diamond thing on the ground. Your cast, whatever it is, I don't know, gem.
Yeah.
If it's on the ground, lightning will strike.
Oh yeah, I've gotten that one before. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll just
passively.
Yeah. So I just love I just feel like it changes the way you play the game. It's like the cast doesn't matter. It's like just get them all out as quickly as you can. And so they're littered on the field, and then just lightning strikes everybody. And like for me, it was like I really love that because I think it embodied like how they can just totally upend the way you've been playing the game. And it was really satisfying, and it was good.
Yeah, dude, I'm just thinking about the duo boons, and one of them where I like chose a Poseidon. I chose like Poseidon at the end of the room, and then it was Aphrodite, and I was having such a good run. I had like 250 health, and I was at full health at the end of it. And then, you know, when you have these like duo boon opportunities, you basically have a second level within the level where you're battling another wave with the with like a power.
Oh, you're talking about the
god.
trial by gods or whatever it's called.
Sorry,
Trial for the gods. Yeah. So you basically have to choose which god you want to like respect, and then you get attacked by the other god.
Which one do you want to respect?
I don't know.
Which elder you want to respect?
They get so upset. I don't know.
But yeah, Aphrodite, like I literally finished like 30 health. I just got absolutely destroyed by her in that run. It was so sad. And I think it was like 2 rooms before Theseus and the Minotaur. It's like, well, it was a good try.
Yeah, actually, I can't remember what it's called. I don't even remember who it's with, but I did tell you about it, Teddy. I got a cat. I beat the game with basically like cast being all my damage, and it was like the True Shot, I think it's called, from Artemis, where the cast is like a homing missile that can also crit. And then I think it was a Hermes duo boon that like it does a ton of fucking damage when the cast thing leaves the enemy's body, and it goes back to you automatically. You don't have to pick them up. So I'm just like, cast, and it just kills basically everything on the screen. Then anything that didn't die dies when it exits their body and comes back to me. That was a really fun one to like stack. But,
you're like the alien. It's like either the alien kills you or it plants an egg in you and the egg kills you.
Literally, yeah. It was sort of like the spear special. It was just like, if I didn't get you on the way in, like you're about to fucking explode.
Do you guys want to talk about the style?
Yeah, we have to. For sure. It's so beautiful. I cannot believe that there's basically one art director at this company who did almost everything, because it's just absolutely stunning and paired with incredible writing and voice acting and music.
Yeah, I think the game's made by 20 people.
It's really just fucking crazy.
Yeah.
There's an interesting thing in the No Clip documentary. They were talking about after they had finished their last game, or maybe their second game, and how they had quit a bunch of them had quit their jobs at EA, and then they're like working out of someone's house, like a family member's house, and then they said there were like 12 of them that finished the game. It's just funny that then they're like, but now we have a whole studio and office and it's 20 people instead of 12.
Unreal.
Yeah, all their games have like been very, very stylish, and I would say like where they were lacking was always, maybe not always, but often I feel like the core gameplay just like wasn't quite there for me. I liked all of them, but I think the best thing about them was they just looked so good and sounded so good. Like I think the No Clip documentary has all the music from Bastion is like what's playing in like the background and stuff. And just like the music's a little lame, but it just like it sounds really good. It's just really well recorded, good production. I really liked it. So I was very excited. Like no matter what, I was like, I'm gonna get this game and try it.
Yeah.
And then to just be like, oh, it's a fucking combat bonanza as well was great.
Yeah, their art style is just, it's so beautiful. It's all, all these hand drawn assets, I guess. It's just, every room in the game looks so inspired and pretty and like deeply colorful. It's great.
Yeah, shout out to Gen Z, not the generation, but the artist is called Gen Z.
Yeah, fuck you, Gen Z, and shout out Gen Z.
And shout out Gen Z. Yeah, I mean it's almost like, I guess you'd rather a company start from the point that you were saying, Teddy, than the opposite. Or I don't know, that's debatable, but like this company, clearly they had really good taste. Right, and so like it looks amazing, it's cool, the company's small and indie and interesting, but the games weren't that great. I haven't played them, but I've heard that from a lot of people. And then it's like everything worked because they finally made a game that's also great, and now it's all fucking incredible. Versus, I feel like it's harder to be like, yeah, they make pretty good games, but like hopefully they have good art one day and music, because like that's like intrinsic, that's like
Right.
base level stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, right, you can just have good artists and good musicians, but like that's not really what we're here for ultimately, right? Like maybe sort of some of the time, but at least that's not what I'm here for, I should say. So it was nice to have all that.
It reminded me of the Castlevania soundtrack a little bit. Sorry to cut you off, but like the Castlevania soundtrack, but done right in a weird way. Like the Castlevania soundtrack is like 30 tracks or something, and we liked a lot of them, but it's all over the place. Like there's basically no through line at all. It's just like every area sounds completely different and is crazy, and every genre ever done in music is represented. But this is like also has like, like lyres and flutes that turn into like metal, and it's crazy in that way. But there is a through line. Like you're very much in the Hades world, or in the underworld while you're playing it. And then the different, what would you call them, levels? I don't know what they're called, like Tartarus and Asphodel. The stages all have their own like little like suites of music, where it's like they're not always played in the same order, but it's like this is definitely part of the Asphodel soundtrack, which is like the fire world or stage or whatever, so it's just so well executed, and the songs are good, really good.
Yeah, I was thinking when I like got back into the game for this episode, like when I like first talked to Nyx, or like talked to Nyx second or something, and her just artwork of like her character model when you're talking to her, I was like, and her voice acting, I was just like, this is fucking amazing. Like this is
amazing.
Yeah, she just looks so cool and sounds so good, and I was just like, this is it. This is all right here. This sums up so much of the game.
Yeah, and I had a similar experience with like the first time you see Chaos, and it's just like,
oh my god,
the faces everywhere, just incredible. And you're in this amazing like a space black hole world. And yeah, it's
yeah, I think
everything
Chaos
is so inspired.
Is like aesthetically, I think my favorite, and I think the coolest other character in the game outside of you, but. Also, what I was going to say is this is like a weird complaint, because the voice acting is so good that I actually like the subtitles kind of take away from me for a little bit, because the voice acting is done with so much like emotion that it's often very slow. And it's really hard when you're looking at subtitles to not just like read at your normal reading speed.
It's not even subtitles. It's literally just like the whole dialogue is written out in front of you.
Piece. Yeah. And I get it, like why you would do that, but at the same time, there were times where I would like literally look away from my computer screen or even close my eyes just to hear the voice line, because reading it along would ruin it and take away from it.
That's it. That's interesting. I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree.
Boy.
I mean, subtitles are normal in games, and I just assume because sound design's really hard to do. And like voice often gets lost based on like location and everything else that's going on. But yeah, it's just like a big pet peeve of mine that like a lot of games just start with subtitles. And this game also, it's just there's just dialogue boxes, which just you're doing it. You're doing the whole thing. Just get rid of them. Let them just experience.
Just give me the option of not viewing it. You know, like it's the art. of, chaos or any of the gods, really. I think they're all like pretty stunning. Like, I just need that in the voice line. You don't have to make their mouths move or anything. I can fill that part in with my imagination. But yeah, reading along was rough. But
and I think it would encourage the player to slow down and not feel like they're just like another level, another grind, like another run, and like really deep in the grind. Because I definitely got to that, but I had runs like kind of like you were talking about, Alon, on your speed run, where it's just like this. I just want to get back into the fight. Whereas I feel like you might feel a little, I don't know, I'd feel a little closer to the characters in those moments if I really had to listen. I couldn't, especially because I don't know, I'm a pretty fast reader, and so literally it's like they're 3 words in, and I'm like, okay. Ready.
Exactly.
Let's go.
And it's worth it too. That's the other thing. It's worth it. They're really good. It's really well executed. The story's cool and interesting. There's like Teddy said earlier, you never get like repeat voice lines or anything. Pretty much never. But yeah, I totally have that too. I'm like on a run. I'm really strong. I'm killing everything. I just want to go. And I end up like skipping a whole thing of Hermes because he's kind of annoying. And then I'm like, I should have read that. Fuck. Or I should have listened to that,
Yeah. Did you guys ever use the chaos shield and have, when there's like a chaos gate that spawns and chaos will talk to you through the shield?
What?
It'll be like, yeah, I feel like I was going to say there's so many little details like this, but chaos would be like, come. Like,
really?
Yeah. And,
I need to try that.
It's, I don't know, you'll like have a boon from some god and someone will like talk to you about it. Like you'll have caught a fish and Poseidon will be like, oh, you've got a fish on you or something. Like they're just like the Zagreus will like before you go and fight the first boss, which is one of the 3
fates.
Like fates. Okay. Yeah. And he just guesses which one it's going to be.
Oh, I love that. I love that subtle little dialogue. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's just like so many little things where the game is like, it doesn't just feel like the stuff's trickling in randomly. Like it feels like the game really is acknowledging where you are, what has happened. Like sometimes you'll like see a fishing point and you'll like be running up towards it. And right before you go to a Zagreus, before you've pressed start fishing, Zagreus would be like, time for some fishing, or like just like little things like that. And you like the game feels aware of you, and it just feels really special and satisfying, and not in like it doesn't happen every time kind of way. It's just like little things here and there where you're like,
they're the Furies, by the way, not the Fates. I thought they were the Fates, though. I mean, am I wrong? I thought that they were right? Nyx's daughters, and they were the Fates.
I don't think Nyx's daughters. Well, no, because the Fates are the ones who won't let Zagreus like return to the mortal world, which I don't think has anything to do with Nyx.
Yeah, am I crazy? Well, I thought that it had everything to do with Nyx because she negotiated to let you live because they were her daughters.
Right. But I don't think she negotiated with her daughters, right?
I'm freaking out.
Yeah, I think the Fates are traditionally...
Everything I believe.
They're traditionally witches or something.
Wretches.
Are they called Megara, Alecto, and Tisiphone?
No.
By any chance?
Oh, dude, Megara.
Man, I blew it.
Dude, I have such a crush on Meg.
Oh,
just wanted to pay attention to me when you're back home, like in the bar, like just talk to me.
Dude, when you give her the gift, and so good.
Did you guys get your relationship full with?
I didn't with everyone.
You can date Meg.
What?
You can date. Yeah, eventually you and Meg can like have sex.
What?
You can also have sex with maybe
Achilles.
I think have sex with Thanatos.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
And also Dusa.
No way. What
I don't know if you have sex with Dusa, sorry. But you could get to the point where you express that you're in love with, that you have feelings for Dusa. And Dusa is like extremely bashful. And it's an amazing subplot.
Holy shit.
This is it. Yeah, Hades, just the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the game is so fucking deep. It's really crazy how much you can go. You have to beat the game around 25 times to even reach the ending, which is just crazy. The ending of the like main plot. But I wanted to jump back to the music real quick and ask if you guys had like a favorite track or anything like that, or favorite moment with the music.
There's some like Doom like ones. I think in
Yeah, they go
Tartarus that
heavy.
really hyped me up. But otherwise, it just, I don't know. For me, it was the music just felt like it was a part of the world in a really positive way, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even like Castlevania, I think about some of the really good songs and how, while they are really good, they're like almost like so abrasive. They just like come in. And you're like, oh, this song is like sick, but it's just like it's like so loud. And this one, I just felt like at all times it just sounded right. I feel like there's like we've been talking about I've been talking a lot about the new Lord of the Rings show, Rings of Power, and the score versus the Lord of the Rings trilogy score, which it's like the score. I feel like there's either a score that is so unique and effective that you like can't, the area, like the film or whatever or game is not the same without them in the same moments. And I think like the Lord of the Rings trilogy has that. And Rings of Power is like, well, then there's like score, which I think like Game of Thrones strikes most of the time, where it's just, you don't really notice it. It just fits. And it's not like, oh, I want to listen to that song from that scene. It just like fits the setting really nicely. And then Rings of Power, for a lot of it, has felt like I notice the score all the time, and I'm like, what? This is so weird. I don't like.
You don't
this.
want that. Yeah.
So Hades for me falls right in that middle line of. There are a couple of tracks that jump out that I don't know the name of, but I
think the second Hades stage, when it gets like really metal, that's like really. If someone played that for me, like while in like the kitchen while I was cooking, I'd like my heart rate would shoot.
Yeah.
I'd like, turn it off.
Yeah. They do such a good job in a lot of the tracks on the soundtrack of like they often start, or pretty much not even often, I think they all start really light and soft, and a lyre and flutes and other wind instruments and orchestral and stuff like that, and like environmental, and then getting really metal with the same melodies like in the same track. But I don't know, for me I was just gonna say that first time you beat Hades, you beat the game, and you meet Persephone, that track, I actually like shed a tear. Like the first time you're talking to her, and it's just this like, she finds out that you're alive and you're her son, and it's just like, and there's just this beautiful like orchestra that comes in really slowly, right when it's like climaxing, and she's like freaking out that you're alive and so happy to see you. So I was just like, holy fuck, this game is amazing.
I'm gonna have to listen to that after this.
Yeah. Check it out. What are you gonna say, Danny?
I forgot it now. It was a very lyre. I don't know if this is this is definitely not the first time I've learned this, but I sometimes forget it. But for most of my life, I've thought it was pronounced leer, and I think it's come up a couple times this episode. I'm like, oh, right. I don't know anything.
That
yeah, that's when I thought it was Persephone instead of Persephone.
Persephone,
yeah. Classic. Or bonobo instead of bonobo. If you're my wife.
Amazing. What's What's the ice god's name?
Demeter.
Oh, I always thought it was Demeter.
Oh,
Demeter.
God. Were you guys not
Demeter.
into Greek mythology when you were younger?
Well, we were into reading it. No one ever talked to us about it, I guess.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. I read it a lot when I was younger.
That explains a lot.
Milk said,
Okay.
what do you think of the what do you think of the mythology aspect?
You're a
Is
real
this type of-
David. Sorry, what?
Yeah. What does this type of story make the game richer? What do you think of the bedroom lounge and little nooks and crannies? Okay, we could skip the second part of the question. What do you think of the mythology aspect? Does this just make the story of the game richer?
Absolutely.
I can't explain my tastes in the world. Like, I can't get into Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, but I used to love Greek mythology and love this game. Don't ask me why. This is just what I prefer. But yeah, I think it's amazing. I think it's awesome. I think it's super. It makes the game way richer and way, I don't know, like deeper feeling. Like, I feel like I can Google any character in this game right now and be fascinated that like that's the story of the character. And they probably didn't stray that far from, what the myths were about them or where they come from or who they're related to or what the relationships were like, just to serve the game. I think it felt pretty true to a lot of things to me.
Yeah, and I feel like Greek mythology is it's a little bit like Batman in popular media, where it's just there are so many different versions of it, and there's like so many. There's always really interesting ways to do it. Like God of War, I feel like has a really interesting use of it, and then I think about like Hercules or Kingdom Hearts and how it's just so different. Like that's my association with Hades, right? And just that word, that name,
Disney.
Yeah, Disney Hades. And then this game, I think for me, I was like, whoa, these like you first meet Hades and he's just so intense, right? And then the gods are kind of like fun loving. Seems like they're just like too nice kind of thing, but just I don't know. Yeah, I just felt like I was like, I love this version of the Greek mythos. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Right. What's interesting about Greek mythology, and like I read Edith Hamilton. What Edith Wharton wrote, I feel like some other book. Edith Hamilton's Greek mythology or something. But like, I think there's like no canon for any of this stuff, right? Like, there's no like text, Bible, right? There's like none of this like. It's all just like stories people told, and it was like it changed. Right? I mean, Roman gods are like they just stole it from Greece, right? Like, and they just like change everyone's names. Like, so I think all this is like really mutable. But one thing I like I would say one thing I loved is like I felt like I knew. Like, I think the way you can power up your character really translated for each of the different gods. And I thought that just like, I guess it's possible I could have done it more abstractly or something. And I guess I would have gotten it, but I feel like it just worked so well with this game. I don't know if like how much they planned that, but I'm fine to think they did, and they did a great job with it. It just like all melds together really well. Like that you just keep dying, go back to the underworld, all these different gods. Zeus gives you lightning, Poseidon gives you water buffs. I mean, I guess you could like draw them all differently and make them feel different. And it could go to a different god, but I don't know. It feels like it all just makes a ton of sense.
Totally.
And it feels very intentional, I think. The
one problem I have with it in story wise, and like I guess I'll give them license to like make a happy game because it doesn't matter, but like Greek mythology is full of like betrayal and sad endings and trickery and just like awful stuff that just doesn't go well, and this game had basically none of that. Like it was all really happy. The game just like keeps working out. One review I read on Kotaku, it was like by Nathan Grayson. He was saying like he played this in early access, and in the first time you played the game, they just never, like the first 2 years, I think there was never anything but you die after you beat Hades and go back to the beginning. There was no there was no like Persephone. There was no like happy epilogue ending. And he was saying what he loved about the game is like, actually, you never like get out and beat the game, but you like rebuild the underworld, you fix your relationship with your dad, you help Achilles, you become friends with Megara, and like all this stuff. He was like, so like, I really like this message of like, even though you failed at your like original task, you are achieving like change in the world. And I thought that was like really beautiful. And I think that like made sense. And I really like, I think that's great. And I guess I just wish there was like, if you're going to do Greek gods, I feel like it needs to be more fucked up than this. But it's okay. It's not a big deal.
I did like that. Sort of on that note is like, I don't really know the word for it, but all the characters in the game are very like humanized. Or is that the right way of using that? They all have like human problems and anxiety and human feelings and human relationships with each other, even though they're gods, which I do think is like true to the Greek mythology texts, right? Like basically the whole plot of the game is like a family drama. And you're like basically an emo teen who's mad at his dad. Like that's basically the plot. Yeah. And it's really nice that they can just, sort of plop on all these like ancient texts and art and style that are so cool and make it work with a plot that is so familiar to us at the same time. The Olympians have all grown soft. Would you not agree? Fucking chaos is the best, dude.
Yeah. You're like, Zeus is a total joke.
Oh my god, fuck off, Zeus.
Fuck off, Zeus.
I love that all of the not just the gods, every character in the game like basically calls you something different. Have you noticed that?
Oh, nephew.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like young man or like my kin. I think Ares says my kin. Right. Like Dionysus, who's always fucking shit faced, is like Zagman.
Yeah.
There's Nyx is always like my child, And
yeah, right.
They all
boy.
call you something. Yeah, boy for Hades. Like they all say something.
I'm glad you called that out. That's good.
Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, and Chaos just says son of Hades because she's just like above all this shit. What else do we have to talk about? Is that a pod?
This is definitely a pod. I'm trying to think. I was just gonna say one thing about the story real quick, if that's okay, since we're still kind of talking about it.
Please, I think that's okay. Yeah, Teddy, do you think that's okay?
Yeah, we'll talk about this after the episode. Go ahead.
But it's interesting because I felt like I liked the world a lot. Sorry, there's a lot of cackling going on outside our house right now. But I didn't feel. Yeah, I didn't feel like I didn't feel like I cared very much about the story or the characters. But that's not even necessarily it's not a criticism, really. It's just just more like an observation of how I felt immersed and like that I liked the world I was playing in. But it wasn't like I don't know, like. I felt like I liked it a lot, and I loved the Last of Us story as well. But the Last of Us story, I'm like so invested in the outcomes for the characters, and this one was just like, something very pleasurable about just kind of watching these interactions happen and letting the mystery or the mystery of the story kind of unfold.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it unfolds, right? I think that's a good way to describe it.
It's like breadcrumbing, sort of. Like that, and that's what's nice about a roguelike tied to a breadcrumb narrative is that they synergize really well.
Yeah,
because all you want to do is get back in there and fight more, and then what happens as a result of that is you learn more, and then the cycle goes again.
Cycle continues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's basically it.
Does anyone do any of us have like a bad word to say about this game? Because honestly, I don't really. I mean, like even Shane's other question was like, is this the perfect Nintendo Switch game? And I didn't play on Switch. I don't own a Switch, but I can only imagine like missing multiple train stops if I had this game portably.
Yes.
Like there's no way that I'm like fighting a boss with fucking, no death defiances and 20 health, and I'm like, oh, my stop, like pause, like I would be all the way in like the Bronx and just be like, fuck, I have to take an hour-long train back.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm trying to.
Yeah, maybe this will get cut, but I also really liked the kind of second home that you have after you beat like your final respite before you fight Hades, after you beat Theseus and the Minotaur, where you kind of have those chambers you can choose to go into, cool. And then some stuff to buy. I was very surprised by it, and wrap it up. And yeah, I thought it was a nice touch, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my god, I could have 2,000 coins at this point in the game. What?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, how is that possible?
Teach you what's possible.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite character or anything like that? I mean, just anyone in the game. I mean, there's the funniest character, I think, is that in the boss fight against oh my god, I'm blanking. Oh, Theseus and the Minotaur. There's a shade, which is like a dead soul trapped in the underworld, right? There's a shade that roots for you and has a poster of you. It's just there's this one small red shade, and if you go up to it, Zagreus has a different voice line for the shade after every win. It's just like,
wait, I've never talked to him.
Yeah, like he doesn't. The shade doesn't respond, but Zagreus always says something.
Oh,
yeah,
amazing.
Which is like you have to do that. It's so.
Oh my
funny.
god!
Like,
yeah, I'm gonna go do that right now.
Yeah, it's so good. He's just like I can't even think of him off the spot, but I just thought that character was so fucking funny.
I love that Zagreus refers to him, Theseus, as king.
Yeah,
and like in a belittling way. It's just like it really like situates him as like so like you fucking joke, like you think you're awesome, like let's go king or whatever he says. It's always just it makes me feel great. Were you gonna say something, Danny?
I was going to say that what's the shopkeeper's name? The river keeper's name?
Charon.
Charon, yeah.
Charon. I did really enjoy Zag's interactions with him, and like giving him a gift, like, giving him nectar and stuff. It's so funny.
Did you guys ever steal from him?
How?
You can steal his gold.
What?
There's like sometimes he'll like have a sack of gold, and if you try and steal it, you'll go to like another area and fight him.
Oh no!
Oh my god! Noticed. Are you kidding? I never had that.
Yeah,
fuck. That's the beauty of this game. Yeah, there's just infinity to do in this game. I cannot believe how much content.
There's just infinity to shred in this game.
Yeah, exactly. Literally.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but also thinking about Voldy's question about like the perfect build. There are a lot of times where like I think I'm up to 4 heat. Like you can basically make the runs harder. So you can get more rewards. And I would occasionally just do farming runs for like other materials like darkness and gems. And I'd be like, or I'd be trying to advance prophecies, and I'd be like, okay, it doesn't matter what boons I get. I'll just die halfway through the game. And I would get like things that I thought were bad that would just like halfway through be like, wait, if I get this new boon, like this is going to be amazing. And like suddenly this thing I'd never thought of before is just super powerful. And I think the game, like with the prophecies and with other things like this, it just encourages lots of experimentation. So that was like really fun to be like, yeah, like whatever I thought about this game is like just not true. Like,
yes.
Like my second most used boon is After Party. Dionysus is like return after it's after an encounter. Return your health if it's below 45%. Return it to 45%.
Wow,
so basically
I've never taken that one.
Yeah, and I used to always take it in the beginning, and like now I don't never take it. But it's like my second most used one because I was at the beginning. I was like, oh, this is fucking amazing. I need this because after every fight, I'm literally at 1.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my first times beating the game with the fist build that I mentioned earlier, the crit special fist build. I was like, I'm just building Tank Vi. And shout out to Doug, shout out to League of Legends. I had like 250 health in that run. I
That's
just
awesome.
Oh my
always
God.
took health when I needed it because I was like, I have the damage and I need
Right.
to go in, right? I'm a melee character. I was like, I'm tank vibe. My special does so much damage. I have 250, 275 health or something like that. And I'm just ripping through them.
Awesome. So awesome.
Good. So
That's
good.
awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to watch it.
All right.
All
Should we
right,
talk
ratings?
Should we talk ratings? Yeah.
Oh my God, ratings. I forgot about ratings. Yeah.
Oh no. All right.
What?
Um,
How could you forget?
I don't
Okay.
know.
Fun. I would give this a 1.
Mm.
I didn't think it was like super fun. I liked it. I thought it was. Sometimes it could be a little grindy.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be a little frustrating. But sometimes the combat was just fucking awesome. And I wouldn't say it was always fucking awesome or most of the time fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I think I had to get a few things working correctly that for it to be like fucking awesome. Otherwise, it was like, I was a little tiptoey or something. So yeah 1.
What are you saying, Danny?
I think it's a 2 for me. I think playing like Halo Combat Evolved solo is definitely like, I think this game's probably more fun. And I gave Halo a 2, so I think it's got to be a 2.
You're going to be held to that standard forever.
Yeah. It's not I stand behind every rating. We're never going to go back and revisit.
I love that.
I do. Yeah, and like I'm looking at my past ratings, and like Prey, I gave a 3 for fun, and this game was definitely not as much fun as Prey for me. But a 1 feels 1 doesn't sit right quite right.
Yeah, I'm with you on it too. I just think it's really hard in roguelike specifically because if you asked me after my first run, I would have said 0. If you asked me after my 5th run, I would have said maybe 1 max. But right, like if you ask me now, I'm like 3. So it's like it's a sliding scale in roguelikes always. So I'm gonna just settle on a 2 because I think the majority of my 40 hours was a 2, even though the beginning was kind of grindy and hard, and I was frustrated.
Cool. All right.
Senses?
Yeah, senses.
3. It's a 3 for me. It's
Yeah,
so
it's gotta
fucking
be,
cool.
Gotta be a 3.
I can't imagine showing this to someone and them being like, that looks like shit. Like it looks so cool and some of the music is so good and it's just fucking unreal. It even smells good.
I even shower before I play so that I can smell good while I play.
Yeah. The acting is so good. I really can't like say that enough. Like these actors are better than 90% of the actors I see in like contemporary movies and stuff. Like these people were unbelievable. Actually unbelievable for performances.
Also, like, what the fuck is Orpheus? Like,
wait, who's Orpheus again?
Orpheus is the lyre player.
Oh my God, Orpheus and Eurydice or Eurydice?
Eurydice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, making fun of us for not being able to say these fucking Greek gods. You can't say shit.
Hey, come on. But yeah, the song of Eurydice is incredible. Oh my God. The first time you hear the Eurydice song, it's like, what is this beautiful voice doing in this game? But yeah, the relationship with Orpheus is so weird. Yeah.
Or Orpheus is like his hair, his voice is really weird. Like,
yeah. I mean, they
Also,
play
it's
with
a-
like gender and sexuality
right.
very
Orpheus is
loosely,
definitely a
which I
countertenor.
like. Yeah,
Right?
yeah, for sure.
Our good friend reminded us, like, we got to teach Tim these songs. Did you guys buy the lyre and play it in your bedroom?
Didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, you can buy a lyre and put it in your bedroom, and then you can practice playing it, and you're really bad. And I probably have touched it like 100 times, and I'm getting better.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I'm not at Orpheus level yet.
There's like
Awesome.
with Slay the Spire, I can be like watching something, I can be editing something, I can be listening to music, listening to a podcast, and have a really fine Slay the Spire sesh where, you know, like maybe I'll beat the game, maybe I won't, whatever. I never did something else when I played this game. I was always like headphones, loud, I'm playing this game, I'm all in, which is like really hard to do in a, time where like our attention is the economy basically. And it's like, I never ever was like, I'm just going to lower the volume in Hades and listen to music. I'd be like, absolutely not, like I'm playing Hades right now, which is, I think just says a lot,
Yeah,
Totally.
definitely.
All right, recommend?
Yeah.
That's hard. That's hard.
I'm a little, my first instinct is 3, because I just think anybody should play this game.
I don't think a roguelike can be a 3. That's
right.
so
I just
hard.
I think it's just too hard.
Yeah. A non-gamer playing this game, I just feel like there's no way they'd have fun.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There's even like an easy mode I think you can turn on. But still, I just think like if it was like someone who was like, I just started dating this new person and they've never played a video game before, maybe I could like make them play it. But yeah, like I don't think I could like show my dad this game and he'd be like, yeah, this is great. So I think it's 2 out of 3 for me if you're a gamer.
I'm there. I'm with you. What about you, Danny?
I think 2. I think it's a 2.
Yeah, 2's all around. That's
teetering
a really
on a
ratings.
1, I think. But
yeah, I mean, I think it's a for sure not a 3, and for sure at least a 1, right? Because if you like roguelikes, you should absolutely play this game, no question.
Right.
But yeah, it's whether it's a 1 or elevated to a 2 is the call. But those are really high ratings, probably highest of any game we've given so far.
Yeah, like the most consistently high, really.
Yeah. Hades,
Wow.
good game.
Hades.
Keeper.
Good
Keeper
game.
alert.
Thanks for making it Supergiant.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what they do next, because this was 2020, you said, Danny? Is that what you said?
Yeah,
at the beginning?
it came out 2020.
It came out in 2020. Been a couple of years. I'd imagine they're working on something else, right?
Yeah, they during the No Clip documentary, they say they're planning something, and they say it's Thanksgiving on Thursday, and so there's no emails then, or no on the weekend, because we don't have no emails a lot on the weekends. And I was just like, it's just in the world of like crunch and everything that we've like seen. It's just
they do it right, man. I mean,
yeah, I was like, this company, like I'll buy every one of their games 3 times.
Yeah, like the fact that like they're so small and they're just like, no, this is our music dude, and he does the music on all of our games. And Jen is our artist, and we love her work, and she does the art on all of our games. Like, it gives me the the warm vibe of like, if we started a game company together or something, right? Like, I would never be like, someone's going to sing other than Madeline. I'd be like, no, Madeline's our singer. Like, that's just, that's how it goes here. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, like someone else is going to program this. I'm like, no, this is like, Doug's going to figure this out. Like, Doug's the guy, And it just feels so much better to support a company like that. Yeah.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. For all the people who made it this far, thanks to all our patrons. Really, guys, we appreciate it. You're supporting our eventual game studio.
True.
Where that's paying all of our salaries, all of our friends' salaries, which is you guys now. We don't have the next game picked.
We don't. We will add it in post.
Yeah. But also thanks for everyone for the banter and all the good times in Discord.
Yeah.
It's been popping off these days. It's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. Huge Rocket League community. Get in there. Let's fucking grind.
Seriously.
Yeah, Overwatch 2 just came out. Doug's playing Diablo Ladder Season 2. So,
my God. Let's go.
We got it all
we got
for
lots
you.
of content.
We finally upgraded to FiOS in our household. So hopefully some more Twitch streams to come.
Oh, nice.
In the future.
All right.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
For the next Game Club we will be playing Outer Wilds from 2019. Happy gaming.